This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for December 25th, 2024. This is season 14, episode number 30, and episode number 469 in a long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. And again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, whatever you like to celebrate. It is Wednesday, and we do have a brand new edition of the Power Play Post Show, and we do have a little bit of a gift for you. We have the Don Father himself, Donald Olivieri, here on the show. You'll get to hear from him in just a little bit, and we talk a little bit about the Black Bears, him coming back, and of course the holidays and some of the traditions that he likes to follow himself and for his new family. So we'll have the Don Father, Donald Olivieri, on in just a little bit. But Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope if you're listening to this, during the day or in the evening time, or maybe even on Thursday or Friday before the Black Bears play their next game, which is on Saturday versus the Danbury Hat. I hope you're having a great holiday and a great Christmas, and I hope you got to spend a lot of time with your family and maybe even with the Power Play Post Show as well. So let's get right into this. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search for Power Play Post Show. And of course, check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And as I've already stated, on this edition of the Power Play Post Show, we have the Don Father himself of Binghamton, Donald Olivieri. So very excited to have Don back on the show again. It's always a pleasure to get to talk to him. And so either way, the upcoming weekend was supposed to be 2 games. As everybody knows, we were supposed to be playing against the Hockey Club Venom or the Hudson Valley Venom this upcoming Friday on the 27th. But unfortunately, due to the fact that they still have not gotten a home arena completely set up yet for them, apparently announcement is coming very soon. That game has been postponed. So Friday night, the Black Bears are getting an extra night off, and they'll obviously play that game in the future at some point. So the Black Bears will have Friday off. My guess is Coach Sherwood will have the guys back on Friday to be able to have a practice. And they might be back on Thursday for a practice. More than likely, for sure, on Friday, they'll have a practice. And then on Saturday, they will travel to Danbury, Connecticut. Okay, so the Black Bears just play 1 game this weekend on road in Danbury versus the 4th place Danbury Hat, who have 28 points and are 8-7-5 as they go into the weekend. Now, Danbury does host the Watertown Wolves on Friday night just before the Black Bears come into town on Saturday. There is a little bit of news about the Watertown Wolves that we'll bring up near the end of this. The Black Bears and the Hat have played each other 6 times already, and this being the 7th game of the season between the two teams. I believe this is the most that they've played any one team so far this season. The Black Bears are 4-1-1, and the Hat are the only team this season to have at least more than 1 win over the Black Bears. A 4-7 loss on 11-23 to the Hat, and then a 3-4 shootout loss where the two teams went 8 rounds into the shootout before Josh LaBelle scored the only shootout goal against CMAC on 11-2. So they've only lost twice, once in the shootout, and once was probably their more dramatic, big loss of the season so far. I know they had a pretty a big loss against Watertown where they lost by more than a couple goals, right? And then obviously the one against Danbury. But that's to be expected every once in a while against teams in your own division. The last game between the two teams was in Binghamton, a 3-2 Black Bears win, where the Black Bears got 2 goals from Caden Henry and the game winner by Tyson Kirkby. Players to look out for from the hat tricks are Connor Woolley, who has 7 goals and 12 assists for 19 points. Also with 19 points is Jacob Ratcliffe, who has 4 goals and 15 assists. These are 2 very consistent players you just got to watch out for on the ice. A slight thorn in the side of the Black Bears this season has been Alexander Gamzatov, who has 8 goals and 12 assists for the hat tricks and has been effective against the Black Bears, not only with scoring, but also with his physical play as well. As most of you know, Gamzatov did play for the Black Bears a little bit, and so he knows the team a little as well. With the hat tricks, you also have to look out for Johnny Ruiz. Obviously, he's the leader of the team with 18 points, and Gleb Bandurkin, who has 17 points. Both of those guys are very skilled players on the ice. Johnny Ruiz, obviously, being the co-head coach with Gonzalez, the defenseman, they're on the ice as well. Manning the pipes for the hat tricks is Connor McCollum. We've talked about him multiple times last year and this year. He's 6-7-3 this season with a 3.48 goals against average and a 91 save percentage. The Black Bears are led by their captain, Tyson Kirkby, who has 18 goals in 21 games and 21 assists for 39 points, leading the league, and has a 1.9 points per game average. Without a doubt, Tyson's having his best year so far in the first 4 years of his career. Austin Thompson is having another stellar third season with the Black Bears with 13 goals, 12 assists for 25 points in 22 games played. Whether it's Connor McAnanima or Nolan Egbert, the tandem have been the best 1-2 goalie tandem this year in the FPHL. CMAC is 11-1-1 and has a 191 goals against average and a 93% save percentage. He basically, at the moment, is in the top 1, 2, or 3 in pretty much all the categories across the board for goaltenders. Eggy is 7-2 with a 3.48 goals against average and an 88 save percentage. Either netminder would be good to play in this game against the hat tricks. The Black Bears are third in the league on the power play, scoring 27 power play goals, which is number 1 in the league at a rate of 23% of the time. So they're third in the league by percentage, but they've scored the most power play goals with 27. The hat tricks are 9th in the league on the man-up advantage, scoring 17 power play goals at a rate of 19%. The Black Bears PK is 2nd in the league, killing at a rate of 88% of the time, only allowing 14 goals in 112 man-down situations. The hat tricks have allowed 19 power play goals in 79 chances, a rate of 76%. They're in the lower half of the league when it comes to their penalty kill. After this game, there will be only 4 more games in the second half of the season between the two teams. Kind of like the fact that we're only playing them 11 times this year versus 18 times last year. So much better. Questions for this game. Who will start for the Black Bears, CMAC or Eggy, right? Because if you think about it, CMAC did play the last 2 games. If you play CMAC again, Eggy's got a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks since the last time he's played. May not be the greatest thing. I would think about putting Eggy in if I was Coach Sherwood. But again, I guess it really depends on how everybody is looking and feeling on Thursday and Friday when they're back at the arena for practice. Injuries to Kyle Steffen and Cameron Clark. Will either one of these two play? I think it's going to really come down to it. I know with Cameron Clark, everybody saw the hit. It wasn't a dirty hit. It was just an awkward hit, right? An awkward hit that saw knee on knee. And just Cam just looked really strange going down. And again, not a bad hit, just awkward, and just one of those things you don't want to see. And let's hope that Kyle Steffen is going to be okay to play. If he isn't, I think giving both of those guys one game off to give them that extra week or two to be okay is not going to be too bad. I know Donald Olivieri wasn't slated to play in that game in Danbury. He had some personal things, but with the injuries to Kyle Steffen and Cameron Clark, it's more than likely that he will be there and play on Saturday night. Does the Black Bears get their 5th win of the season over the Hat-Tricks in the only game of the weekend after having 6 days off for the holiday? It'll be interesting to see, right? Because, they last played on Saturday, and then they had Monday off, Tuesday off. I'm pretty sure Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, Wednesday off, of course, for Christmas. They should be back on maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. It really depends. So we'll see what transpires there, but it'll be very interesting to see how the Black Bears do with having that much time off and then coming back and playing for the playing against them. I'm trying to get to the Watertown. Let's see here. Let's go to Watertown's website. I believe the trade. This is a very interesting trade. So what they did was they traded for future considerations Chatwin and Blacksmith to the Columbus Blue Dragons in exchange for future considerations. Blacksmith was 27, was originally signed by the Wolves as a free agent in 2023. And, they just want to wish him the best of luck. It's a very interesting trade. Obviously, one of the better players on the team. And there's a change happening in Watertown, as we all know, all the things that happened last week, and then, guys not getting paid, being suspended, all those things happened. And, it's very interesting that they did change there. Obviously, Justin Coachman is now the head coach, and we'll see what comes out of this. But I thought that was interesting because that leads into the team that we play against on Saturday, being that Watertown is going to be in Danbury, and they're not going to have Blacksmith there now on that roster. So it'll be interesting to see what the Black Bears or how the Wolves react to everything that's happening. Last weekend, I think they went 1-for-1 in their two games. So 1-1 in their 2 games. So either way, that is going on right now in Watertown. The Black Bears obviously have the game on Saturday against the Hat-Tricks. We're going to go now to we're going to go to our interview with Donald Olivieri. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show is Don Olivieri, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Buchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. As promised, he is here, and this is like a Christmas miracle, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. But either way, he is the Don Father. He is Donald Olivieri. Don, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you. And as this is being released on Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and Jordy and Elise and your whole family.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, and I'm glad to be back. You know I love being on the show. It's a good time.
Awesome. Don, you started this season pretty much right from the beginning of the season. First time with Binghamton that you kind of signed beforehand. Talk about the thought process there, because, I'll be honest with you. At the end of the season, you guys are raising the cup, and you come up, and I'm shaking your hand and congratulating you. And I asked you the question. I was like, was this it? Are you going to go out on top with the Binghamton Black Bears? And you kind of looked at me and smiled and said, no decision. I just want to enjoy the moment, and which is absolutely 100% cool. But you're back, and you started at the beginning of the season this year. What kind of drove that thought process for you?
it's the same conversation me and Jersey have all the time. We just look at each other and laugh, and he just says, "Let me know," and he understands. I mean, like I said, we know each other for a while, so he understands. But I don't know. Definitely, I mean, winning a championship was definitely icing on the cake for me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things when you think you're done and you're happy with how your career went, and then the summer. I mean, I was having fun in the summer, being with the family and stuff, and then when hockey season starts coming around, and you see guys signing, and you see camp and stuff, you kind of start getting the itch, and I think a lot of the guys a lot of the returners, I think that came back kind of convinced me to come back. I think that was a very good core that's back with us, and I think we have a really good shot to run it back this year, and I think that's just what settled it for me.
Yeah, I think I've told people this a couple different times, but sometimes when I talk to players who are thinking about retiring or coming back, and I always say this is the worst news I can give you, but if you can play, right? Because you're not going to always be able to play. Because like if you retired and 4 years from now you said, "Oh, I want to come back," is it going to be the same? Are you going to be able to do it? There's all that. I don't want to call you old because you are clearly not old or anything like that. You were born in 91, so you are in your 30s. But there is a different element to it. When you were in your 20s, say 24 versus 34, or almost 34, you'll be 34 in June, there is a different element of getting up and putting on the skates, getting stretched out and ready to play the game. It's different when you're 34 versus 24, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely take care of my body a little bit more now. I always say age is just a number.
Sure.
It's just more how you feel, and I know definitely when I was younger, I definitely worked out more. I didn't probably properly take the steps after working out, with the stretching. Mm-hmm. Before games, I probably didn't stretch as much as I should, and you can get away with it when you're younger. But now, I toned down a little bit the working out and kind of focus more on the stretching and just making sure everything's right so I don't go into any games sore, which, I mean, it's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sore every weekend now, but like I said, I guess that just comes with getting older. But I definitely take different steps with my body now than I used to, and honestly, I wish I would have did it when I was younger because maybe I wouldn't have to do it as much now. But I mean, I gotta take the proper steps if I want to continue to play and give my 100%. And I mean, that's just how it's got to be until I decide I'm done playing and it's all over.
You guys started off the season up in Watertown, and you guys obviously got the win. You come back, you raise the banner on that Saturday, and the Wolves took it to you guys, and you still scored a goal in that game. But talk a little bit about the opening night and raising the banner, and was there even a little bit of nerves for a guy like you who's kind of seen a little bit of everything? Maybe a banner raising was something that you hadn't been a part of, a winning team coming back and doing that, because I know we've talked about that as well. Was there still even a little bit of nerves for you on that Saturday on the home opener?
Not really. I mean, the banner raise was pretty exciting with all the fans, and obviously that was my first one, and it was exciting, and at the end of the day, I mean, we still had a job to do, and the banner raise, that's just a bonus on top of playing. But at the end of the day, I'm still thinking about the game, still thinking about what I can do to help the team win, and seeing the banner raise before that, I mean, obviously, maybe I took a couple seconds to forget about hockey and just watch it and take it in. But like I said, at the end of the day, we still have a job to do, and I mean, hockey comes first, right? I mean, we accomplished everything we did last year, and like I said, that was just a bonus on top of the banner raise, and there's just more important things ahead right now.
I know we're only a few questions into this interview, and I'm going to strike some controversy pretty much right off the bat. How do we get Scherzy to not get in trouble? How do we get the head coach of this team to not get in trouble and get suspended and everything? How do we keep him, out of trouble? Because I love Coach, and Brant and I we're very close and everything. But it's kind of funny. He still thinks he's one of the players. He sticks up for his guys. And, the Danbury thing is what it is. It seems like every time you guys go there, there's going to be some sort of craziness. How do we keep Scherzy out of trouble, though? Do we have to kind of hold him back, put a seatbelt on him or something? No,
I mean, he was, as a hockey player, he was kind of like a rat on the ice, right? Like,
yes, he was.
His role to be a rat. So,
yep.
I mean, it's hard. First, it's hard stepping away from hockey and coaching. Mm-hmm. And, he's done a good job doing that, but you're always going to have that rat side to you. That's just the kind of player you were, and he's going to treat coaching like as he was playing. He's going to do everything he can to win. He's going to give it his all. He's going to stick up for his guys. Now, I mean, he can't fight, right? But he can stick up for the guys in other ways, and I think he does a great job doing that. And it is what it is with the league, and throwing out suspensions. I mean, clearly Binghamton has a target in their back, and you know what? As a team, as a coaching staff, we love it. We enjoy it. I mean, if there's a target on our back, then obviously we're doing something right. So for him getting suspended or getting in trouble, I mean, it is what it is, and the players will back him up just like he backs us up.
So let me ask you that. How do the players feel about Coach Sherwood? I mean, everybody who comes on here, they always say all the right things, but he is, first of all, a good X's and O's guy. He creates systems that just seem to work consistently, and then he brings in the right people. And then he goes and sticks up for his players. And when the team feels like they're being attacked almost by fans in Danbury, and I'm not busting on the Danbury fans. Listen, it's a hard place to play. At one time in Binghamton, there had to be police in the stands just to keep the fans from being too crazy back in the 70s and 80s. We could talk about the Philadelphia Flyers teams from the 70s, the Broad Street Bullies. There was a lot of craziness in hockey over the years, but it's pretty impressive that Brant just, he will take care of his guys and show that he is one with them.
Yeah, and I mean, I know with the Danbury incident, I mean, they're throwing beers at us or whatever, and it's hard, right? We're human.
Yeah.
It's hard not to react to that, and it's a disrespectful gesture towards us, and like I said, we're human, and it's hard not to react the way we did, and like I said, it is what it is. Whatever happened. I mean, I'm happy nothing more serious stemmed from it, but
sure.
But seeing the guys come together and then stick up for each other, and then Sherwood doing it, and I mean, that's a team right there, and that's just that's what you ask for when you come and play on a pro hockey team. Is everybody have their backs no matter what, and like I said, I'm just glad nothing stemmed from that. But whatever our team gets into with suspensions, penalties, power plays, whatever, fans doing what they got to do, we're always going to stick together. We're going to get through it, and that's just why we're successful. So
it seemed like the Port Huron Prowlers could get underneath your guys' crawl a little bit as well. Just kind of a feisty team. They like to play sound defensively. You guys were obviously still be able to, get production against them. Can you talk a little bit about the Prowlers and what it was like to play against them?
Yeah, honestly, I think that was one of the more fun games. It wasn't. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the feistiness where it was like cheap shots, stuff like that.
Sure.
It was all good, clean hits, just guys getting in your face, talking smack to each other, and it was a fun hockey game. And I think teams try and think, we might be the number one team in the league, and we're just a skilled team, blah blah blah, and they want to come in with that we're going to be bully mentality, but they don't realize that our team loves that kind of game. We love teams trying to bully us because we'll give it right back. We're we're not scared to throw hits. We're not scared to fight. You know, and like I said before, that's just another reason why we're successful. We can play any style any team wants to play. We'll never back down from any team.
And it's kind of interesting, too, because the games against the Prowlers and, of course, against the Hat Tricks, they always seem to be physical, and they always seem to be kind of a little bit of feisty in that regards. The Wolves obviously have been good this year. Who has been so far the toughest opponent? Can you pinpoint, like, one game that you were like, man, that was just a balls-to-the-wall tough game for us?
I mean, honestly, I think playing Watertown's, you know, tough.
Yeah.
You know, they're ranked smaller and they're used to it, and I think they're a very good team on home ice because they're used to it. They know how to play in their rink. Their style is made for their rink, and I think that's one of the harder places to play in. And it's always a battle with those guys. You know, there's a lot of hate between us, Watertown, and Danbury. You know, so those are probably the two teams that are probably the tougher opponents that we play. And no matter if a team's absolutely terrible or if they're great, it's always a good game no matter what. And it's just because there's just so much hate between the organizations. And afterwards, you know, everybody's best friends, but on that ice, there's just a lot of hate between organizations. That, you know, every single team wants that number one spot.
You know, Don, I talked to CJ Stubbs last week here on the Power Play Post Show, and one of the things I talked about was him coming, and he played 4 years, obviously, in the SPHL. He's playing here now in Binghamton. Obviously, he played with Jesse Anderson in the past, and obviously with Coach Sherwood. And we talked a little bit about the differences between playing in the SPHL and the FBHL. But it seems like this year, yes, maybe there's some teams off ice that are kind of struggling with logistics and all that kind of stuff, and having an arena to play for the Venom. But when we look at the first 20 to 24 games this year for most of the teams, we've got a ton of teams that already have 10 wins on the season. It seems like to me that the quality of play and even the players that are playing in this league has just changed so much in 5-6 years. What do you think is the reason for that? And now we know why in Binghamton, Brant has brought in some really good, high-quality, high-intelligent kind of players, college degrees, master degrees, things of that nature to come play for this team. But why do you think the league in itself, having 14 teams now, but you have almost, I think, more than half the league has at least 10 wins or more, and we've never really seen that in the league in the past?
Yeah, I mean, so I was in this league 10 years ago, and it was basically, you know, you have your first line, who's your skill guys, and then after that, it's almost just mayhem every game. And as the years go on, I just, you know, I think I don't know how to explain. I mean, like, it's kind of just word of mouth. That's how a lot of recruiting is done.
Sure.
Is word of mouth, you know, asking guys about other guys and stuff like that. And I think it's just, you know, when I came to Binghamton, for example, you know, when Sherwood called me in my first year, asked me to come play, and, you know, I kind of like chuckled at him, like, dude, I don't want to come to the Fed again, you know, like, because my last memory of it was in Berlin, where it was just kind of a shit show every game.
Yeah.
And and he explained to me how it's changed, and I talked to Kirkby a little bit, and then I come up there, and then you see facilities like Binghamton, you know, you see facilities like Columbus and stuff like that, and then it just, I think that's what brings guys to the league is the facilities and how they're taken care of, and, you know, I'm not saying we're like the NHL, we're getting whatever we want, that's not the case, but, you know, they do the best they can to make the guys as comfortable as possible so they can play at their highest potential. And even when you go to the SP, you know, some of the SP teams are pretty stingy. They won't go above and beyond for you. But I feel like here, a lot of these teams want to be successful. You know, the owners, right? They want to make as much money as they can, and they're going to do what it takes to make their team successful too. So I think that's that's just what it is that this league is starting to realize that, you know what, like, it's starting to change, it's starting to get better, and the reason it's getting better is because they're taking care of the players more, they're helping the players more, you know, and getting the players equipment and stuff along the lines like that. And I think when guys start seeing that, that's why they're choosing the Federal League over going to the ESP half the time.
I know that there's a close bond between the Binghamton players, the Binghamton organization, and its fans. Can you kind of express how important the fans in Binghamton have been to, you know, I mean, to you, but just to the team in general? It seems like there is a bond here that I don't think we've seen in a long time, at least here in Binghamton, between the fans and the Black Bears.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the team, I mean, the fans are the glue, right? They're the ones that get the guys going. I mean, coming out of that tunnel and seeing, you know, whatever 4,000 fans a game, you know, it gets the guys excited. You know, I played in rinks, you know, that had 10 fans there, and then I played rinks that had, you know, 10,000. You know, it's obviously you want to play the rink that has more fans because they're, you know, you get amped up, you get excited, you know, and you want to give back to the fans by giving them a good show and getting the win for them, because everything they do for us. I mean, I came to the rink Friday, and I just had, you know, just little stuff. Like I had little gift bags of candy in there. I had handwritten cards from just little kids that, you know, I throw a puck to, or
Sure.
You know, I signed a stick for it, and they're just expressing just how appreciative they are. And realistically, you know, the team, the players are appreciative of the fans, and, you know, maybe I don't know if the fans realize that, but we're more. I think we're more appreciative of them, you know, and the only way we can really show it is interact with them, and, you know, and give them wins and give them a good show, and that's what we try and do. And, you know, it's just, to me as an athlete, I think it'd be wrong not to go out, talk to fans, and, you know, take pictures with the kids and stuff like that. You know, they're paying so much money to bring their families here and watch us when, you know, they don't have to do that. They can go take their kids on trips or, you know, do whatever, but they come and watch us play hockey, and that just shows, that just makes us appreciate them so much.
You got to play a game in Reading against the Wheeling Nailers just recently. You know, I'm pretty sure that this meant a lot to you to play back up in the ECHL for another game, but be able to play in front of your family as well. How did that get worked out? Was that a call from Reading to Jersey looking for a defenseman, or how did that play out for you?
Actually, Sherwood didn't even know about it.
Oh,
probably. I think I called them when they were on the bus, on their way to their Friday game.
Yep.
And I called them, and I actually called Dylan first, but no, I told him later. He didn't even know about it. But Reading's head coach, Binkley, he was my D coach in Fayetteville my last year there.
Okay.
And I saw his name just pop up on my phone when I was at work, and I kind of chuckled to myself, and you know, like, I kind of knew. I kind of had that feeling that he was going to ask me to come up and play, because he knows I'm from the area, and he knows it's an easy drive. And literally, right when I said hello, he just said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" Which was Saturday. And I said, "Playing for Reading." He started laughing. He goes, he just said, "Yeah." He goes, he just needed me. They have a lot of injuries right now, and they needed a defenseman. And he told me it was going to be for one game. And I said, "That's fine." I said, "I'll come up." You know, it was good. It was, you know, it was good playing in the East Coast Hockey League again. Brought up some memories, you know, me and Sherwood being together in Norfolk and stuff like that. And my family being able to go was huge. My wife took off. She brought the baby. And like I said, my dad, I was telling you, I think a couple weeks ago, my dad was a cop up there for, I think, 20-plus years. And I think he was more excited to go back and just see what Reading was like, because he hasn't seen it forever. And when we got up there, he had me laughing. He was just, he goes, "Wow, this place changed so much," and all this. And I'm laughing, and I'm like, really? Like, to me, it didn't look like a change at all. And he's just laughing, and he had a good time, and it was a good night. And I played well. I did everything I could to help the team, and Binkley was happy with my play. So I think it was a successful night.
Yeah, and pretty cool, and I think very good for Brant and the Fed to now have two of his probably top players, you and Tyson, go up for a game in the ECHL and get that look. It's something I've been talking about for a long time. Bridge those relationships with an ECHL team, and Binghamton is square right in the middle of Reading and Adirondack, so it's almost like perfect. It's like, take a look at these guys. They are guys who can play at a higher level. Give them a chance. Give them a look-see. Now, you've already played in the ECHL. You played a ton, obviously, as well in the SPHL. So you've kind of already been there. But it's still good for the ECHL teams to have a look at a player who's playing full-time in the Fed, like Tyson, and for you to see that. It's because it's important, I think, for the development of the league.
Yeah, and I actually had that discussion when I got back to the rink with Sherwood. I kind of laughed at him. I was like, man, I know Binks didn't call you first and called me. I was just like, you weren't mad about that, right? Like, kind of just chuckling with him. He said, absolutely not. He goes, that's awesome for our team. And,
yes.
And I told him, I said, I agree too. I said, getting called straight to the coast like that, I was like, that helps the program out so much. And I'm like, now, like you said, it shows that relationship now, and now you never know. Maybe coast teams will skip over the SB call-ups and start coming to our team,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is. And I told Sherwood, I said, hey, if a team calls me up, I said I'm probably not going to take it this time, though, because of my loyalty to Binghamton. And he said, you better take it. And I started laughing, but we had good chuckles about it. But it's awesome building that relationship, and it definitely looks good for the organization. It definitely looks good for the league, and that just shows how far this league has come.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I asked the question before talking about you going to Reading, because it really does tie in together. Of course, I'm happy for you, and at least to be able to have Jordy and your father there to kind of see you play in that arena, because there's a lot of different connections for you and your dad and the whole city of Reading and that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool, and it's just so close to Philadelphia. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the holidays. Obviously, today being Christmas, and you're in the new house, and you told me a little bit off air that you decorated outside for the first time. The Christmas tree's been up for a while, and she's had that going. What's Christmas going to be like for you guys, because it's the first time that maybe Jordy can really understand it and enjoy it as well, right?
Yeah, so, she's a little bit older now. She's more aware and stuff. But now the lights, I was telling you, it was kind of funny. I guess it's my first time really decorating the house. And I think I did a pretty good job. But when I look around the other neighbors and seeing their houses done, and you could tell they've been there for a while, and they've been doing it for a while. And you could tell I'm the first timer, so...
Well, what did you put up? From a guy who's been doing it for 25-plus years now myself, my house is totally decked out. We have 13 Christmas trees inside the house, which I know is excessive and whatnot. But outside, I have, like, thousands and thousands of lights. What did you do? Tell everyone kind of what you did.
So we have the Christmas tree up in the house.
Yep.
My wife put it up, I think, a couple days after Thanksgiving, which is... to me, it's a little absurd, but whatever makes her happy.
Yes.
No, just a little decorations around the house, but outside, I got two windows in my bedroom that face the front. Mm-hmm. So we have green lights up there around those windows on the inside.
Cool.
So it glows up the whole light or the whole window, and then we have a bay window on our first floor, and we do the whole bay window with red lights, and then we have a Christmas sheet that goes across the bay window. I think it's just snow and some Christmas trees on it and stuff, and that hangs out the bay window, and the light kind of makes a pop.
Oh, cool.
And then I have a string of white lights that go around my awning onto my onto my front steps, and then I got like a 3-foot Grinch out there, a 3-foot snowman, and then I bought this. I don't know what it's called. It just has they're snowflakes, and they just do kind of like circles on my house. Mm-hmm. And that's about it for now. And I look around other people's houses, and they next time I got to get a 30-foot ladder or something and climb up to my roof and get the lights going on the roof next time, and maybe try to figure out a way to get a little bit more pop going.
Well, if you're anything like me, I have an addictive personality, and I get it. I really am addicted to the Christmas lights. When I was a kid, one of the greatest things for me was when we got in the car and it was after 5 o'clock and it was dark, and especially in the month of December, and I was just a kid stuck to the window. It's probably the only time of the year that I didn't get in trouble when I was in a car, which was I'm just out there staring at all the lights as we drove through the city or the town or wherever we were going with my mom, my parents, and it just made me happy. And it was probably, like I said, the only time I was ever not in trouble inside of a car when we were going somewhere as a kid. What was holidays like for you guys when you were young?
So I have 2 older brothers, and I have a baby sister, and we had a pretty close Italian family. So usually every Christmas Eve.
The 7 fishes?
Nah, we don't do that.
Okay.
There's too many of us to do that, but
fair enough.
My parents usually host, and they'll have everybody over, which is around probably 30, maybe 40 people.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we'll do that, and we'll do all the Italian dishes still, and then just sit around, drink a bunch of wine, and just bullshit with your family, and then the following day, we'll go to my parents, me, my brothers, and my baby sister will go to my parents, and we do I think it's the White Elephant, where
yeah.
We'll do that with our immediate family, and then now that I have Alyssa's involved, and she got a part of it, so we do that, and then after that we just eat breakfast, hang out for a little bit, and then we kind of just go on our way, and maybe we'll meet up for dinner later that night and hang out at Christmas night. But that's mostly it. But now Alyssa, we go to her family's. I think we go to her family's around. Oh no, Christmas Eve midnight. We go to her family. They do they open gifts and stuff at midnight. So
do they really?
We'll do that. Yeah, so we'll do that after we leave my parents' house, and so I got a pretty busy Christmas Eve, but my Christmas Day is pretty laid back.
Wow, that's pretty neat that they actually do that on Christmas Eve at midnight, just as it's hitting Christmas Day, that they open up some gifts. That's a pretty cool tradition. It's not one that I've heard of before. I know a lot of people will go to Christmas Eve Mass, and they'll be there until midnight. And matter of fact, that's where my wife got her engagement ring, was at Christmas Eve Mass. I proposed to her in Wildwood, New Jersey, of all places, at the top of a thing, but then I didn't have the ring. So I gave her a lifesaver ring, I think. And so I was, dorky like that. But then I got the ring just before Christmas. So we took it to Mass, and the father blessed it, actually, believe it or not, at Christmas Eve Mass, which was pretty cool. Which is probably the only reason why she's never lost it, but unfortunately it won't come off her finger now. So, but yeah, it's a pretty cool story. So, Christmas has always been special in our household. What's the one gift that you guys have gotten for Jordy that you're excited about her opening up?
I think it's like this house kitchen set thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Her mom has it at her house, and Jordy loves it. So I got to get that built so she enjoys it.
Cool.
But that's probably the special gift. But I'm sure she has more gifts coming. So
and spoiled, right? Because that's first is always like that. Yeah.
My family and her family absolutely spoil Jordy. So So
which is great. Don, thank you so very much. Listen, you have 18 points through 13 games so far, 10 goals, 8 assists. I think only 3 games have you not registered a point in so far this year. So you're doing pretty good there. 6 power play goals. I pick on you when you do get an even strength goal, usually in my reports, saying, "Hey, look, Don finally got a even strength goal," which obviously is good. You got 4 of those so far this year. I think 2 of them were on 4-on-4 though. So I don't know. It's not 5-on-5, but
hey, even strength, you know.
Fair enough. You got a game-winning goal. How do you feel has your season gone so far? I know you're battling some injuries, but how do you feel like your season has gone so far in the 13 games you've played?
No, I think it's been going good. I mean, obviously every player is going to admit that they can do better in some aspects of their game, and there's definitely some aspects where I can pick it up a little bit and tweak some things, but overall, I mean, I think it's going good. I think me, Tomer, and Kirkby, we gel pretty good. We have a pretty good friendship outside hockey, and you know, it's just one of those things on the ice. We don't really talk too much on the ice. We kind of just know where we're at, what we're kind of doing. So, I think it's a good line with us. And I mean, all my goals and success wouldn't be without those two. And you know, I hope I can put up another 50 points this year before the season's over.
That would be great. Hey, one last thing before I let you go. One of the things that you do when you score a goal, sometimes you will skate by the opposing team's bench and kind of give them a little bit of a salute. What are you trying to say in that moment?
I mean, if you hear some of the things they say to me, you know, it's
fair enough.
It's just
you're being nice, right? You're being nice back, you know?
They can talk all their trash, but, you know, I'm going to get the last laugh on them. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, you usually do with that slap shot, which is pretty impressive. There's some people that are starting to compare your slap shots to guys in the NHL and showing it side by side, and it's a very similar slap shot. So obviously that's something that can get the last laugh when you need it to, and everything. Don, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and to your family. As always, thank you so much for just coming on and talking to us. And I know the fans really, really appreciate it. You are the Don Father of Binghamton. It's written up. There's a creed somewhere with that, saying that. So, again, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. And like I said, I'm always here to be on the show. It's always a good time talking to you.
Awesome. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Hope you guys are all having a great Christmas day, as we had definitely wanted to release something very fun for you here on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everybody. If you celebrate any of the other holidays, happy holidays to you as well. And I want to thank Don Olivieri for coming on and talking to us. Now, coming up this upcoming Sunday, we're going to talk about the Danbury Hat game, cover that, and give you all that information. But we also have a very special 6 more questions with Don Olivieri, holiday style. We'll ask him some of the very hot topic holiday questions that people may sit there and argue about, and we'll let the Don Father decide on those as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Again, happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search Power Play Post Show, and share any of our posts with all of your friends. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. Thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, as well as Binghamton Black Bears forward, the Don Father of Binghamton, Donald Olivieri. I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for listening to you. We'll talk to you this upcoming Sunday right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.